Jim Cramer joins me on the floor of the NYSE. I'm Catherine Ross with TheStreet. All right, Jim, you just sat down with Larry Kudlow to talk GDP numbers.
Yes.
What's going on?
Well, geez, I mean, first of all, Larry was my partner for 3.5 years at CNBC on a show called Kudlow and Cramer. And Larry is a very good economist. And I think people understand he was an economist for Reagan and for the Federal Reserve. So this is not a talking head, okay? And he's talking about all the good ways that the GDP is actually going higher and how it can continue to go higher. Now, he talks about the policies. And I know that for people who hate Trump, and we watch the Michael Cohen hearings and said, well, this is exactly what I thought about Trump, that he's bad. Forget whether the Democrats overplayed. They have to listen, see, because it's not like Larry saying he's cheerleading. I've seen Larry say when the economy's not so good, he'll say it's down the dumps. Now, he's a preternaturally gentleman when it comes, who's bullish, okay? So he's sanguine around the clock, okay? But what he does is he gives you the right breakdown. He said, it's amazing, dividends are still good, capital gains are still good. He corrected me. I said, we should tell people about how it's not just the money's going to capital gains and dividends, it's also being spent. And he said, listen, Jimmy, the truth is I like dividends. You know, he knows I campaigned for the dividend tax to come down. We often felt that we had something to do with it. But now I think it actually has to go up because I'm worried about the deficit. But it was a remarkable interview because for two reasons. One, I think he definitely explained what's behind the GDP spurt. But second, that it might not be a spurt. And then, by the way, how about the fact that he said that there's going to be a China deal, and yet the China stocks are down today? I think that's ill-advised selling. I mean, he also said there's going to be a China deal the way that my friend Peter Navarro wants, which is, kind of distancing from the 2025 world domination plan, maybe a little bit less Belt and Road. He said that financials might be able to have their own divisions. This is what American Express has wanted for a long time. It would be it would be finally something that would make the bank stocks go up. So I thought that the market, which rallied on his comments, should have stayed up, because if you're worried about a China deal, after that interview, that was the most, I'd say, positive series of statements about China and the talks yet. And he confirmed that one of the things that's helping is that our economy is ascending. It's stronger than almost every economy in the world. And their economy is declining. And that matters. It's the trajectory that matters.
Speaking of economies, I'm looking at CNBC right now. We've got, our market's been up and down, and now we're down again.
Oh, geez. Yeah, wow. Look, and NASDAQ getting hit pretty hard. I can't go up every day. I was talking to Bruce Kamich, who is our fabulous technician, and Bruce is very worried about the market. I see the pocket, look, the financials are down. The healthcare stocks are really getting killed. FANG is really kind of flatline. The industrials, people are starting to downgrade them. Retail's hit or miss. I don't want to cheerlead for the market because we've been up for 9 straight weeks. Even though I did a piece last night, I say,
I was going to say, you sleep
obviously,
soundly.
If the market goes down, it's an opportunity is what I'm saying. Now, the market's overbought, and I don't like that it's up for 9 straight weeks. It needs to rest. My writing partner, Matt Horwey, and I frequently talk about resting, and this is the equivalent of resting. Resting is JP Morgan going, say, 106, 102. Resting is Coca-Cola hanging here. Resting is Merck, trying to get through 80, maybe not. Resting is Caterpillar stuck in the 130s, might go down to 128. And we just have to accept the fact that when it's resting, that's not bearish. When it's resting, it's not bullish. When it's resting, it's fine. And I have to go back to the not the late, he's alive, but he just doesn't talk, Peter Lynch, who always said, look, you got to be in during these periods because there's only very short periods, say 9 weeks, where the market makes up so much performance. And look at the 9 weeks, the 2 months, 11% gain in NASDAQ, 30% in NASDAQ. And if you were to have sold after Christmas at the low, or the day before Christmas, you would have missed this gain. And therefore, what he would say, Peter Lynch would say, he ran the Magellan Fund, it's where I put my money when I was for my IRA. He would say point blank that those were the weeks that if you weren't in, you missed the performance. So don't sell. Let the market rest. Let the market go down. And then, we'll look at opportunities. If Goldman goes to 190 on the Maxine Waters hearings, I don't know, March 12th, maybe buy.
What about JCP? Because that stock ain't resting.
No, that's stock of the day. And, we're going to have to see. I'm not going to talk about dollar stocks on Mad Money. What happens if she pulls it up? What happens if she turns it? It would be shocking, especially because it's in the mall. But anything can happen because I think she's doing a lot right. She's getting out of the bad businesses, spending more money in the good businesses. It's the balance sheet, though. I mean, you go back and read Larry Culp's letter. Fix the balance sheet and then play offense. You cannot play offense until you fix the balance sheet. By the way, Jeff Gannett, I know a lot of people are deriding Macy's. Macy's is a hard term. But what was the first thing he did? He fixed the balance sheet. I don't even think he's really played offense yet. I think the problem with Macy's is generational. That's really the issue. There's a new generation that buys clothes. I know my cell phone. No. New generation rents the runway.
I just signed up for Rent the Runway.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Did you really? Why?
Because, so my boyfriend is constantly teasing me that I have too many clothes.
Is he
and
from
I
Texas
don't wear
too?
them. No, he's from New York.
All right, good. Good horse sense there. You don't have enough clothes to go out on like a Saturday?
That I have too many clothes.
You have too many clothes?
Too many clothes. So he's constantly trying to get me to sell my clothes or like get rid of them. And so I decided, you know what?
Why? You just want some more closet space? Or no, honestly, here's why I asked this. Because, there's a landfill issue. My daughter's at Parsons, okay? She's getting an associate's degree in business and fashion. And we often talk together about this, and we need sustainability. So, maybe sustainability means renting the runway.
That's what I was thinking, because there's so many clothes that I have in my drawers that I don't touch.
Right.
I never wear them.
Right. I don't think that's uncommon.
No. So I actually
did a trend, but this is the anti-Macy's trend that I'm talking about.
It is, because I had to choose Rent the Runway, so I didn't spend so much money on
See, this is what I mean. One of the reasons I'm so glad we work together is that my generation didn't have Rent the Runway, okay? So I don't know about this, what I call an existential threat to Macy's. Because there was no existential threat to Macy's. When I got out of law school, what did I do? When I got out of college, what did I do? Well, did a lot of stuff, lived in my car, blah, blah, blah. Only ended up in New York. And the first thing I did was get a Macy's card. Because that's what you did. You got a Macy's card. Did you, when you got out of college, ever think about getting a Macy's
Nope.
card? Well, there you go. We all got Macy's cards. I remember my friend Jill Abrams said, let's go get Macy's cards.
That's not exact.
No.
So
She
it's
encouraged me.
interesting.
Yeah.
And yet I still love my TJ Maxx, my Marshalls. I still love going in
by
them
the way,
and
TJ Maxx,
buying.
there's a firm. I don't want to mention which one because I don't want to pick on them. But they have a sell. They ready to sell on TJX. Go read Matthew Boss, JP Morgan. TJX may be the bargain in the group.
Did you see this news that Martha Stewart is joining Canopy Growth, the chapter?
No, I have a piece this morning. I'm going to have to revise it later because of Cory Booker introducing legislation calling for not just a decriminalization, but saying, listen, make pot legal and get those people expunged, the records expunged. This is so important. As someone who has hired people who have paid their dues for drugs and are fabulous employees, we have to have more of these people back in the workforce. They paid their dues. It's ridiculous. It wasn't even a crime. So Cory Booker doing the right thing.
And what about Martha Stewart with the CBD products?
Well, you know what? Martha is a friend, fabulous business person, and I think that means that you. It's more of this is a legitimized trend. Like Larry Bosty said yesterday, I've been recommending Canopy and I've been recommending Kronos. Kronos is a little extended. And of course, GW Pharma I had on last night. GW Pharma is in many ways my favorite because GW Pharma is using its cannabinoid, its Epidiolex product just for children for epilepsy. Well, go read An Unraveled Mind by Kurt Eichenwald. What happens is children grow up. And as they grow up, they're not going to be saying, oh, I can't use it anymore. This is life-saving. And Mr. Gover, who was on the show, was the CEO. I was indeed trying to goad him to say all the uses. But when you have a Martha Stewart get behind it, it matters. In the same way that it matters that Rob Sands and Bill Newlands, who was on, a great teaching we had, have backed Canopy. So this is very important.
You just mentioned, and I kind of slid past it, that you need to revise your real money piece. Now, why do you need to revise it?
Well, because if Cory, I think you have to recognize that the next step, the big issue with cannabis in our country, it's the patchwork. And only GW Pharma is officially sanctioned by the FDA. I think that's not right. Now, Gottlieb is fabulous, and he's approved more drugs, 53 drugs this year. Gottlieb is an amazing FDA head. But and GW Pharma has the right dosing. So one of the problems when you try to get a prescription, a doctor's very reluctant to give you a meg, here it's 50 meg, it's 70 meg, it's really important. But what matters is if you decriminalize, more than decriminalize, if you actually make it so it's fine, right? Then there are a lot of just kind of plain everyday pain issues where people get, they'll get Percocet from their doctor. It's still prescribed. Like if you have like knee surgery, the wrong doctor is going to give you 10 Percocet. The right doctor gives you a bag of peas. That's what you use. I've had them both operated on. And, we got to replace Percocet with gummies or with THC, whatever. Anything that's not addictive. And so that's what I want. If that happened, we could get people, you can't get these people off of opiates. That's the real issue. Congress people who are fighting this have to recognize it's opiate versus cannabis. That's the fight.
Would you give Martha Stewart's line of CGC products to your dogs?
I don't know. Hey, my dog Xilinx is almost out of obedience training. I hope he comes
congrats.
back and stops eating my pens.
Well, yes, I hope that too.
He's so dumb.
Okay, Jim, I also want to talk to you about the Tesla news that we're going to see later today from Elon
China?
Musk. Well, we just don't know. He said that he's got news and that he's
I'm hearing that it's $2 billion. By the way, Ford's numbers are really bad in China, and I think that's one of the things that's happened. China's got 1 million people die a year of respiratory illness. They need plug-ins. They need electrics. They need every electric they can. Now, 60 Minutes featured one that I mentioned in my Real Money piece. But China loves anyone who can cut the number of respiratory illnesses, particularly because a lot of their companies are so horrendous. Coal, steel, they're belching. And anybody who's an antidote to that, even if they're American, is fine. It'd be a good sign for the trade talks, too.
So we saw this incredible GDP number, and I'm wondering, how can investors trade that today?
Well, I think that the GDP number and the Chinese, what Larry Kudlow talked about, makes it so that you want to go buy the stocks that they're throwing away that have good fundamentals that have to do with China. I mean, I would look at an Emerson. It's still not too late to buy some Honeywell, like United Technologies. Not going to go buy Apple off it because yesterday Best Buy talked about cell phones being bad. So you got bad cell phones here, bad cell phones there. You got to hold off buying, even though I don't want you to trade Apple. You got to hold off buying. But United Technologies is down, and I'm beginning to think that that's silly. Rolls-Royce pulled out of the engine contest between United Technologies and GE. United Technologies figures prominently in a lot of the plane orders, and there was an upgrade today of Boeing 450 to 500 price target boost. You got the big British Airways buy. You have the Vietnamese buy, and you just buy United Technologies.
All right, Jim, we got to head over to Action Alerts Plus because I got to talk to you about J&J.
Oh, my, I'm very excited.
Yeah, so you can find us over on actionalertsplus.com. Thank you for joining me, Jim, and thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.